Good morning, guys. I overslept today. I'm still getting ready to do my skincare and everything. I'm having a flare-up day. My joints are hurting. My back is hurting. Everything is hurting. So it's going to be a slow day. But I thought I would tell you a little more about me for people who are new here and maybe don't know me, and I don't think I've shared this story. Chronic illness stinks sometimes, but it's sometimes manageable and it's doable. My story began about 2 to 3 years ago. I went spring turkey hunting with my husband. We hunt together every year. It's fun for us. It's like a little date for us. And we were really bummed out that day because we didn't get anything. So we came home and we just took off our hunting gear, showered, and went about our day, not thinking anything of it. If you're a hunter, what did we forget to do there? Leave it in the comments. So a couple weeks go by. I get up at 5 in the morning to do my Bible study. And I got up and I felt something on my back, and it was like a little itchy feeling. So I went to itch it. There was something there, and it was a good size something. So I pulled it off, and it was hard to pull off, but I got it off, and I looked at it, and it was a giant tick. It was huge. It had been there for a while, just feeding away on me. I killed it, and then that day I set up an appointment with my then doctor, and I showed her where the tick was, and there was a bullseye rash there. I saw it. My husband saw it. She saw it. Everybody saw it. And I said I'd like to be put on antibiotics as just a precaution, just to be safe, because that stuff can get nasty, and it can get nasty fast. She said, well, I didn't see the tick. The rash could be from anything. I don't feel comfortable putting you on antibiotics for no reason, so we're not going to do that. I was very upset about that, but there was nothing I can do, so I left. A couple weeks go by. My husband's at work. I'm home alone with my kids, my 4 kids. And then just out of nowhere, my legs went numb, and I hit the ground. And then they were in excruciating pain, like pain I'd never felt before. And I couldn't move, I couldn't walk, I couldn't get up. All I could do was sit there, and I was crying. I got my oldest daughter, and I said, you got to call your dad home from work. It's an emergency. Here's the number. So he came home, and he couldn't get me up either. We had to actually call an ambulance to take me to the hospital. And they couldn't find anything wrong. And after a while, I got some of the feeling back in my legs, and I was able to walk a little bit. But I was actually ended up using a cane to get home, and we ended up having to buy a mobility chair just so I could get around. And it was like that for quite a few months. And I kept going back to the doctor, and the doctor kept saying, oh, well, no, it can't be Lyme disease. It's multiple sclerosis. It's this. And they kept testing me for all this garbage, and I knew that that wasn't what it was. I knew it. And it got so bad, my joints started hurting. I had surgery on my right knee 3 different times because they kept insisting it has nothing to do with Lyme disease. It's a torn meniscus. And I didn't even need the surgeries, but they did it 3 different times. They insisted that's what it was, and that's what they did. After a few months went by, I got frustrated. I was fed up with this doctor. I left the entire practice, and I went to a different practice with a different doctor, and I immediately met her and liked her. I knew at once she was going to be nice, and she cared about her patients. And she asked what was going on, and I told her, I'm like, a few months ago, I had a tick on me, and I had a bullseye rash, and my doctor refused me antibiotics, and I think that's the cause for all the problems I'm having. So she ran the Lyme disease test, put me on antibiotics first, ran the Lyme disease test. It came back positive for 2 different strains of Lyme disease, and one of them was an aggressive form. So what I knew the whole time was Lyme disease. And Lyme disease can mimic other diseases and stuff, and it makes life miserable. So she ran a bunch of tests, and it turns out the delay in getting the antibiotics had already done its damage. I am going to have, it got into my heart, for one. I have Lyme disease tachycardia and other issues with my heart I take medicine for now. It's in all my joints, so I constantly have joint pain and stuff, and it's miserable. The pain can get to like a 9 on the pain scale sometimes. And I ended up having to take, the antibiotics didn't do anything, so I ended up having to take 3 different rounds of an infusion for months at a time every single day. We did that 3 different times. She referred me to an infectious disease specialist to get those done. I think it was called Rocephin, and it was an aggressive form of treatment for Lyme disease when it's reached the advanced stages. And I had to go get a PICC line put into my chest that went into that vein that fed directly into my heart, so that I was getting the medicine directly where I needed it. And they were like 3 months at a time, every day, and then 3 months at a time, every day, and then 3 months at a time, every day. And they made me sick. I was miserable. And it's been a whole miserable experience. So now the damage is done. I permanently have the heart problems, the pain, the joint problems, the everything that came with it. It will never go away now. They waited too long to treat me for it. This was completely preventable, and I'm still a little bitter towards that doctor for just completely shutting me off like that, because this could have been avoided. But now, because of her, I'm permanently chronically ill. So it stinks. I still have a cane and a mobility chair that I use once in a while when I need it. I have good days and bad days like anybody else, but that is my life in a nutshell. And it stinks because before I got the Lyme disease, I was a runner. I would run, and I did fitness almost every day. I loved fitness. I liked hiking and stuff, and now I just can't do those things as like I wanted to anymore. I can do some forms of exercise if I modify them, but I can't run anymore. Running is gone. That's completely out of the picture. There's no way. I've tried running, and the joint pain in my knees are just so bad I can't do it. But it stinks sometimes. And the cold weather definitely makes those joints hurt more. And we were in the negatives last night, so it's one of those flare-up days for me. But I just wanted to share a little bit about myself with you guys, and I hope you guys have a great Monday, a great start to your week. And I love you guys, and do something that makes you smile today.